This is an IGN article that just dropped. You're too good for camo. Battlefield 6 players can't help but poke fun at absurd orange recon skin. Enemy spotted. Battlefield 6 is giving fans some of the most cinematic FPS action they've seen in years, but one of its hard-to-reach recon skins has the community in stitches. Die-hard fans of military shooters like Call of Duty and Battlefield have spent the last few years arguing about what place, if any, goofy skins have in their favorite video games. Although EA and Battlefield Studios' latest has largely dodged the conflict with its commitment to a more grounded approach to cosmetics, it's not managed to emerge from the wreckage completely unscathed. And this is a picture of the dead sight skin that they're talking about. Discussions about one questionable launch skin kicked off when Reddit user Boss Clan Intel shared an image of what appears to be Recon class dead sight skin. It's one outfit for the sniper-heavy class that could likely require dozens, if not hundreds, of hours of playtime, requiring players to not only complete all 3 standard Recon assignment challenges, but also several Recon specialist challenges. Battlefield 6 players know all too well how demanding some of the many challenges can be, making dead sighted especially tough to get for anyone looking to collect an infantry skin. The main problem here, though, is that the image shared here, dead sight, makes you feel a bit more like a traffic cone. And somebody posted on Reddit, BF6 Mastery Skin, bright neon orange. Wow, dice. On what appears to be one of Battlefield 6's sunnier maps, of which there are many, the Recon skin practically glows, mixing orange and black colors that look more like Black Ops than Battlefield. When nearly every other skin sticks to muted tones and traditional military camouflage, dead sight sticks out like a sore thumb. Making matters worse is the fact that skin is designed for recon players, ditching something more practical like a ghillie suit, for an outfit that an enemy may be able to point out as easily as a far-off flare. Looking at dead sight in Battlefield 6 in-game gallery of class skins reveals that the suit is really more of a brown color instead of an orange. The exact environment of the image above was captured and remains unclear, but on a bright map of these settings, the contrast and the rest of the costumes are hard to ignore. Of course, one bright Battlefield skin is a far cry from the superhero, celebrity, and sci-fi skins that have divided Call of Duty fans, but that doesn't mean Battlefield players aren't taking the opportunity to poke fun at the dead sight skin. So I'll put a link to the article if you want to read the whole thing, but generally what they're saying is that these skins are not going to necessarily help or hurt the game. They may just be kind of a slap on the face, if you will. As we are about to launch into Season 1, I'm definitely smelling some changes are going to be happening in the Battlefield games and the community. I think some people are going to drop off and maybe play something else, and there is a possibility that Battlefield will actually grow some more. But I think the key thing to take away from this is that every company, especially a video game company or any type of media company, such as films or music, they want what is called an evergreen property. They want to be able to generate revenue forever. And that's where these skins come in. If somebody is new to Battlefield and they're coming in and then maybe they're coming off of COD and they're just like, oh, this looks kind of cool, I'll get that. They will buy it. And that is something that we have to kind of be prepared for. I'm not saying I'm happy about it, but I do understand from a business standpoint why they would want to do this. But can we just keep the neon colors down just a little bit? Because I don't want to be inundated with a storefront every time I open the game. I just want to push play and shoot the bad guys and get shot by bad guys. Is that too much to ask? Now, in a cruel twist of irony, I did purchase the Phantom Edition skin, and I thought that included the Battle Pass for some reason. I don't know if that's still true or not, but what I did learn was that I did get some skins right out of the gate. So I am part of the problem. So I do understand that this is something that is kind of hard to escape. But at the same time, I do want to have some life brought back to this franchise. I have been missing playing Battlefield, and it feels really good to play it, especially when you get on a roll and you're having a good game. It doesn't mean that the game doesn't kick your ass once in a while, and it certainly has on my end. I am barely past the level 50 mark, and it feels like I've had to scrape and fight for every bit of it. Now, I admit I am part of the problem. When I was playing the Modern Warfare games and Black Ops Cold War, I dropped a silly amount of money on some of the skins in there, but I didn't really think about it until much later as like how much of a stupid investment that was. Because yeah, you can look at your skins when you're in the loading screen, but when you're playing the game, you really only see the wrist of your character and maybe some of the cosmetic guns. And it's just silly, very silly to do that. I think the core takeaway that we have to understand is that in this current society, people like to stand out and they like to get attention. They like to have a big neon sign that says, hey, look at me, look at how cool I am, look at how much money I can spend on my game. And that's kind of a silly trend to encourage, but hey, if the businesses can get it, they will get it, and people will spend the money and they will do it. I don't think that this will kill the game, but it's definitely going to put a divide in the community. If you think about it, if you're a gamer and you've made an online handle, what does your handle have? Is it all caps? Does it have numbers in it? Does it make you stand out? And that's funny because you'll see something like somebody wants to be John Wick, but you see like John Wick number 90,000 because a lot of people have picked that name because it's a cool pop culture reference. And that's, I think, the downfall that Call of Duty got into was they were leaning on pop culture so hard, much like Fortnite, that they were trying to make that their business model. And unfortunately, it worked in a lot of respects. The one thing that hasn't really been touched on is what if people could design their own skins in Portal? That would be very interesting. Now, if you think about it from a modding community, Portal is one step closer to letting communities mod the game and make it into something that is personalized and fun. Imagine if they could do that with skins. Imagine if you could create characters from your own tool set that you have in Portal. I think it's a slippery slope, and that's why, from a business standpoint, it does make more sense for them to try and make skins that will appeal to the COD community, if you will, but also not distance the Battlefield hardcore fans. Now, this is just my opinion, but it kind of feels like Battlefield 6 is the new Call of Duty, and I don't mean that in the sense that this game has replaced Call of Duty. There's always going to be a place for that game, but it is dying pretty hard. And a lot of people are walking away from it, and that is understandable. It is more of a mobile game now. It's a game for everybody, which also means it is a game for nobody. If people play it, it's because they can pick it up and jump right into it. I know people that do the same thing with Fortnite. Fortnite is a pretty easy to pick up game and play, and you can really get good at it, or you can just be casual at it, but it will still make a lot of money because it appeals to a broad audience. I'm hoping that Battlefield kind of sticks with its roots and doesn't stray too far off the path. I understand they need to make money, but with the game doing so well out of the gate, you would hope that they would actually commit to keeping that core experience and making good maps, making some of the bugs that are plaguing the game fixed. Just to be clear, I have no sponsors. I have no affiliation with any of the game companies. I am generally just critiquing these as a fan. And I would love to have access to early plays of the game so I could post the videos and all that. But at the end of the day, I have to kind of wait just like everybody else. There are many different departments in every company, and I think that one thing that kind of steers this kind of personalization of your game experience, besides the money factor, is also just marketing. If people can make silly skins, then people will get to talking about it, and then the Battlefield community is trending. Now, of course, the game having such a decent launch and pretty much blowing people out of the water with the gameplay kind of makes it feel like that they don't need to market very hard on this game, but they were still going to do that because they want every cent in their bank account. The Battlefield hype train has left the station, and it is not slowing down. It is not stopping for anybody. It's going to keep going, and I'm all here for it. I'm ready to have some fun, and I think that Battlefield 6 is going to keep people interested in video games, if that makes sense. I'd like to see people come back to games and just have fun and not have the over monetization. Season 1 drops on October 28th, and let's see what happens.